Hey everyone, welcome to another HBCU conversation here on HBCU Game Day. I'm Tolly Carr. As always, 10% discount code for Cross Colors. That's available, that discount code at hbcugameday.com. Don't forget about that. Joining us now, she's a former FAMU Rattler. She's now a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. Alelee Figueroa. Miss Figueroa, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today? You were in Fort Bliss, Texas, correct?
Yes, Tolly. I'm doing great today. It's great to be with you here today.
Absolutely. Okay, tell us a little bit about your time as a Rattler. You grew up in Florida. You're big in track and field. You were a thrower, and you had to decide about college. What was the process like figuring out that, hey, I want to be a FAMU Rattler?
Yeah, so in high school, I knew I wanted to choose a university in Florida, stay in state. And I took a list of the universities in Florida and I ranked them on the records and on the statuses of their track teams. And FAMU was one of the top choices. And when I got to visit FAMU in Tallahassee in a field trip, I definitely felt more confident in my choice in picking FAMU as one of my college choices. Yeah.
It was just something different about it, right? Like when you got there, it was just something that you couldn't like measure or write on paper. It felt different, right?
It definitely did. That day when we took a field trip, we actually visited another university in the same town. And that was my prime choice at first. But once I stepped foot on campus, it was just a different vibe. It was very welcoming, definitely felt like home. And so I had to choose FAMU after that.
Hey, translation, FAMU over Florida State. I said it, she did. So you were a walk-on the track and field program. You have Coach Moore there, Darlene Moore. She's a legendary coach. What was it like performing, being on a team with her?
Yeah, so it was great being able to be on a team with her for a couple of years. I actually read about Coach Moore as a high school student. I actually went to a track meet in Orlando, and I made attempts to communicate with her then. But I've heard of her. She's very legendary. Multiple championships, both in track and field, indoor and out, and cross country. Even just stepping into her office and just seeing all the trophies, it was a pretty great feeling. But she was a very competitive coach, very competitive, always wanted to win. But she was a great mentor to me also. She actually is my soror. We are both sorors of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And so she was a great coach to me on the track and outside of the track. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I think we have a little pink and green ambiance in the background there, along with the.
I do see it.
we try to be prepared for these things. Alelee, a walk-on, like that's not the easiest road to take in college. Like you really had to prove yourself out there, right?
Definitely did. Like I said, unfortunately, I didn't get a track or athletic scholarship that I wanted, but I did walk on. I did get into the school with an academic scholarship. That's what I did. But one thing that I learned was if you really wanted something, you got to fight for it. So you got to be resilient, even if people say no. So I knew I loved track and field in high school, and I didn't want to part ways with it yet. So I fought to get on the team, and I'm glad that I did.
Okay, so you were a thrower. You've got the discus. You've got the hammer. What else were you out there as a part of the team throwing around?
Yeah, so I did the discus and hammer, like you said, and I also did the shot put and javelin throw and weight throw. I delved into every event in throwing, but my forte was the hammer throw.
Mm-hmm. So you did pretty well for yourself by your senior year. You're a team captain, but that leadership has to come from somewhere. Let's take it back a little bit. You joined ROTC because initially you just kind of wanted to stay in shape for track and field, right?
Definitely, yeah. Coming as a freshman, I wasn't part of the team yet, but I wanted to stay fit and get ready for when the tryouts did come. And so I did join track and field or ROTC for the first semester, thinking I was going to get out right after come spring. But I found that it was something that I enjoyed, and the instructors there definitely encouraged me to stay. And because I guess I was great to them. And yeah, so I stuck with the program all my 4 years in college, as well as stayed part of the track and field team all 4 years also.
So that's a pretty busy slate. What was the thing that really got you hooked on ROTC where you're like, no, I'm gonna stick around. I'm not gonna just make this a one and done semester event. What was the one thing that really made you stay?
It's the one thing that really made me stay was like I said, the instructors stating that I had great leadership abilities, and I had a feeling, well, in my eyes, if you're great at something, then you should use that skill that you're great at as much as you can. And so I didn't feel like quitting ROTC just because I didn't want to do it anymore. If I could become an asset in any way, then I wanted to keep using those skills both inside the program, the ROTC program, and outside. So I guess being good at something made me want to stay and not to quit.
Alelee Figueroa, former FAMU Rattler, now a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. She's stationed at Fort Bliss. Uh, Tell us, how did you manage those schedules? I've seen ROTC up before the sun. I've seen athletic teams up before the sun. You can't be in two places at one time. How did you manage that?
Yeah, Tali was, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was very hard. It was pretty difficult to manage both, juggle so many things, practices, PT, exercises, briefings. But a key thing that I had to realize was I had to manage my time properly, and I had to effectively communicate with both my coaches and my instructors. So it was a lot of wagering which events I would like to attend, I would like to sacrifice and not be there for. But again, a lot of communication between both organizations, and just a lot of willpower, I guess, because a lot of long nights, early mornings, but time management and communication were key.
Yeah, and it really blossomed for you. It kind of one of the culminations of your college career. You were the MEAC Woman of the Year, which was just last year. That's pretty outstanding. How did that how did that strike you? What feelings were you left with that to be named Woman of the Year in the MEAC?
Yes, thank you. It was actually a great feeling. I guess I did. It was during the COVID time, and so it was kind of a very rewarding. It felt like all of the work that I did in college was appreciated, especially after I did lose my last season because of COVID-19. So it was very humbling to have that award named for being named that award throughout all those instances.
So you're in college. Graduation is here. People have been asking you your entire life, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you majoring in? What are you going to do? What job are you going to pursue? What career? You choose the U.S. Army. What influenced you? What made it the destination of choice for you to pursue not only a career in the Army, but service and sacrifice for your country?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I felt like if people have a skill, if I had a skill that I can benefit others in, I wouldn't want to quit. And so sticking with the ROTC program leading up to graduation and commissioning as an officer, it was definitely something that I felt like I just had a duty to myself and a duty to others. If I had a skill, I don't want to I don't want to keep it from anybody. If I can help the world in some way, I can help our country in some way, I'll definitely do that.
So you now find yourself as a second lieutenant commissioned officer. What what are your job duties? And what is it like being now out in the real world, no matter what career you're in, being in the real world is always different. But I would imagine it's a little bit different when that real world is the United States Army.
Right. So yes, I am a active duty second lieutenant in the United States Army. I work as a brigade strength manager, which means I'm in charge of the strength, which is like the gains and losses, the incoming, the capabilities of the personnel within that brigade. It's very humbling to come in as a young officer. People see officers as just, they know everything, they'll lead you to the right direction. But the truth is, I'm coming in as a young officer, coming out from college, don't really have as much experience as the soldiers that I'm working with and I'm in charge of. So it's very humbling to learn that I have to absorb everything and that I don't know everything. I think that's key. I don't know everything, no matter what position I'm in, I'm always learning. And in life, taking life outside of college, it's very different. A lot of adulting. But like I said, it's humbling, taking it one step at a time. They say in the Army, crawl, walk, run. So like I said, taking everything day by day, learning what works for me. And then once I've developed a great pattern and a great routine, taking it and running with it and hopefully being a great officer in the future, just a great person in the future, great adult in the future.
You're doing a great job, trust me. When you're measuring the strength of a brigade and people that are coming and going and taking care of, things from a human resources perspective, that could be quite challenging, especially just right out at the gate, right?
It is. Like I said, I have these soldiers working in the office with me who have been doing this for years. So I'm really just trying to absorb their wealth of knowledge that they have to offer, because it's very important to manage people's careers, manage people's lives, deciding which their next duty station is, ensuring that they have receive the benefits when they retire. It's very important. People come to you with the problems if they don't get what they need and what they want. So it's a learning experience, and I'm looking, even though I'm a leader I have the rank on my chest as a leader, I still look and learn and look up to my soldiers who are in the enlisted and who have been doing this for years.
Alelee, you are the youngest of three daughters. Your parents migrated to this country from the Philippines in the 90s. You're the first person to actually leave home in Florida. The first person in your family to join the armed forces. Is part of what you're doing kind of creating an American dream for your family, your generation, with you embarking upon all these first?
Yes, I do everything. A lot of the things that I do for my family. I do want to think of the long-term second and third order effects. I want to create generational wealth for my future family. That's why my family came over to the United States, to get a better life, to get more money. And so I feel like joining the armed forces creates a great foundation for my kids and my grandchildren and everybody in the future after that.
The Army can also continue your athletic career. There are things in place where you can continue to get out there with the discus, the shot put, the hammer, which is your favorite. Do we see the potential for you to still compete inside the U.S. Army?
Yes, Tali, the Army does have some opportunities for their soldiers, and one of them is the World Class Athletes Program, and it allows soldiers to compete nationally and internationally in the Olympics and the Paralympics. So that is definitely a program that I am seeking to join in the future. They have their marks set on the website, and I'm just working towards those marks. So hopefully I can one day be able to compete in that program.
How would that strike you? How important would that be for you, that you can continue your career in the Army, of course, but also that itch from an athlete who was successful in college to be able to push that even further.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so to be able to compete, and the great thing about the program is that you can compete and you can still continue to lead in your job. So you will be able to both. But it would just be amazing because it just shows that resiliency, just like how it was in college, is possible. Like you can achieve anything with resiliency. So like in college, how I walked on, I didn't have the scholarship. Like right now, I don't have the marks currently, but it would really help. It would really be great to show others that you can really do anything if you set your mind to it.
What is it about your FAMU experience that still sticks with you and maybe even helps you to this day? You have the new challenge of your position. You're still learning. You're in the crawling stage. What do you lean on from your experiences at FAMU to help you moving forward?
So the thing about FAMU, it's the College of Love and Charity. So they opened so many doors for me, and the education that they brought me was unmatched. It's not the textbook education. It's not what you want to hear. It's the reality, and it's sometimes hard. And it made me build this mentality and this mindset. I feel like that had set me great up for the real world. I know what's true to me and what's not. I know when compassion is needed and when discipline is needed. So FAMU had opened all these opportunities for me. All these accomplishments I wouldn't have achieved if I went across the track, if I went to a different school. So I'm just very grateful for that and for all of the lessons learned.
Well, we're so glad that you chose FAMU, and we're so happy for you, and we're glad that we can know that the country is in great hands with people like you being inside of the United States Army. She's a former Rattler. She's a second lieutenant. She's Alelee Figueroa. Thank you so much for joining us today for another HBCU Game Day conversation.
Thank you, Tali.